Hi everybody, today is a story time video about my ex-boyfriend and my basically what equates to mental delusions and head games and like characteristics of my personality that make me a horrible person. So let's get into it. It's gonna be a great story time. So this starts when I was like 20 and right now I'm 27. So when I'm 20 years old, I start seeing someone, dating someone who's a little bit older than me. By a little bit, I may mean a lot. I don't know. It depends on what a little and a lot is. I don't know the exact definition, so just judge me all you want. I don't care. So I'm dating someone who's older than me, but then we break up. And then they, like, whatever. One day, I decide that I'm going to start selling drugs again. I'm going to hook up with my ex-boyfriend, and on top of that, I'm gonna buy a car, my first car. So I'm like pumped up about all these new life choices that I'm making. And this is like the beginning of the downward spiral of my life, because like when things are going good, I do these like little irrational types of decision making without thinking anything through. I'm just like, yeah, let's go for it, let's do it, see what happens. And this is what I did on this day. So I did all that. Okay, I got my car. My mom was like super mad because I called her at work to be put on her car insurance, and she told me to come home, like be at home when I get home so I can talk to you. And I was like, yeah, okay, but I had other plans. I was like busy doing other stuff. So anyway, I did all this stuff. I got the drugs, I got the car, and then I went to my ex-boyfriend's house. And then basically I went there, I walked in, I was like, hi, I just got these drugs, I just got a car, and I just decided that we're gonna be together and get married. And he was like, what? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in a relationship. And I was like, did you just hear me? Like, I said blah 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 blah, like that's what's happening. There's no like discussion about it. Like, I just said it. Like, that's what's happening now. Thank you. And so he's like, no. I was like, I don't care what you say. Like, I just said it, and now is like what's happening. Like, just because you disagree doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Like, because I'm not. I'm always right. Thank you. So this happened. Right, I'm like pretending to be his girlfriend. I'm like doing all that girlfriend type of stuff, but at the same time he's sitting there like, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship, blah blah blah, but like you can come over and clean my house and whatever else I was doing. So then fast forward into June, and I think at this point I'm 21, because the day I decided to be with him, I got my first car. I started seeing him in my 20s, then I turned 21, and that's when I got my first car, I think. And then fast forward, shortly after I got my car, I was like able to drive, and so then I was looking for an apartment, because I was like, I need to move out, and I need an apartment, obviously, to move out. So then we go into this. I don't know if I have a video about this, but this is one of my favorite story times ever, is how I met this guy who's now my ex-boyfriend. So right now we have ex-boyfriend number 1, and his actual name is number 2. But I'm just going to say ex-boyfriend number 1 for the purpose of this video. Now, here we go into ex-boyfriend number 2. I'm looking for an apartment on Craigslist, and I found a nice one, and I had to go meet this guy. And we obviously decided to meet in a park, because it's always a good idea to meet a stranger in the woods. And it's also March. So some of the roads are closed, the gates are closed. Anyway, I got there late because I went up the wrong road that was closed. Had to go back through the city and then up around. And I was like dressed super super cute, a little like striped bodycon Calvin Klein dress, 3/4 quarter sleeve. It was very cute, and it had matching gray booties on, just like the cute little flat boots that are like ankle boots, but they're not a heel because they're flat. So I was looking very cute. And I was like hoping and praying that it wouldn't be some like creepy guy. I can do a more in-depth story time of this, but basically I got out of my car and there was like this very attractive, tall, fit guy with a gorgeous smile and a big white fluffy dog, like leaning against the gate. It was like literally like what you would see in a magazine, and I was just like, oh, thank God. Like, I was so glad it was not some like creepy dude, because I was meeting a stranger in the park in the woods. So we like went for a walk. The whole thing felt like a date, even though it was like an apartment interview date thing, except it was not a date. It just felt like a date. And so anyway, we decided to be roommates, and so I was like, okay, I'm moving in. That's what's happening. That was the whole goal of it. Before I moved in, I went to hang out with him, and then I went to hang out with him again, and on the second time, I hung out with him at his house, right? So this is like my third time ever meeting him. I say to him, let's have sex. And he says, I don't think we should do that if we're going to be roommates. And I said something like, I don't care. And he said, all right, let's go. So we did that, and it was great. And then I moved in after the fact. So that was in, wow, March? I must have moved in April. Or maybe in June. I don't know, April or June. Because it must have been June, because I only lived there for a month. So it could have been like the very end of April, and then into the end of June. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, here's what happened. Both of our birthdays are in June. His is at the beginning, and mine is June 20th. So I move in. Everything's good. We're having a sexual relationship, and I'm his roommate. And I'm still like, ex-boyfriend number one is like filled in on every detail because I'm psychotic and I have to tell him everything that I'm doing. So like I go over to his house and I like pretend to be his girlfriend. He's like, I don't want to be in a relationship. And I'm like, well, it's a good thing you don't want to be in a relationship because now I'm screwing someone else. And here's every detail that you never wanted to know. On top of that. But I'm still gonna cook your dinner and I'm still gonna do all that other shit. So we're in that situation. Okay, I'm like living with this guy. On his birthday, I noticed that he had a hickey from someone else. Like, I was like, I did not put that there. Like, this is not happening. Like, I am going to leave. So, obviously, I go to ex-boyfriend number one's house, where I'm, like, pretend girlfriend land. And I, like, tell him everything. I, like, spazzed out at his house. And, like, I feel kind of bad for him. And I told him this yesterday when I went to see him. I tell him every detail of everything, every drama, every little thing. And he has to deal with that from me. And he doesn't ever give me advice or anything. He just sits there and listens, and I, like, feel bad that I do this to him all the time. Like, every piece of stupidity that comes out of my decisions, he has to deal with me going to his house and, like, freaking out. And I sit there next to him and I'm like, ah, you just don't know what I'm doing. Like, he has to deal with that for me. It is not as regular as much since I moved, but that's what our relationship is now. So on this particular day, I go over there and he suggests that why don't we get an apartment together. He's like, my floor is crooked and it's bad than my back, so why don't we move in together? Because I kept going to his house, like, spazzing out. I don't know how long, maybe like 3 to 7 days or something. I was, like, so lividly mad. And, mind you, okay, this guy, roommate guy, he was correct about maybe we shouldn't have sex if we're gonna be roommates. Now I see why he said that. It makes a lot of sense now. So, this guy I'm, like, in love with, want to be with, marry, whatever, wants to move in with me. I'm like, oh, yay, great, happily ever after. Okay, good, let's do that. So we find an apartment, I take all my savings, and I put all of my savings down on the first month's rent and security deposit, and then we get the keys and I move in. I start moving my stuff in before this guy because he had more stuff and was taking his time, whatever. Now, fast forward to June 19th. This is the day before my birthday. June 19th is the day that Spencer died. It's my stepdad who killed himself on the day of my 16th birthday party, which was June 19th is when he died. My party was supposed to be the 20th. Anyway, wait, is that right? Anyway, yeah. So that's besides the point. All I want on my birthday is for no one to die. And so what magically happens, which it probably is magic because magic is an abomination. How else could this have happened? Okay, so what happens on this day before my birthday is I'm in an empty apartment all by myself. I'm like, good. I'm just chilling. I'm thinking like everything's fine. Who hits me up? Gas station guy. Gas station guy. In the midst of my like stupidity of decisions, gas station guy hits me up the day before my birthday. Obviously, he's gonna come over. And so he comes over and we just like chill. We always have a great time. And we were just like talking and like cuddling, like, you know, all the like normal kind of Ratchet stuff. Except it wasn't that Ratchet, but it's like, it's kind of Ratchet. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. So he comes over, we're chilling, we're talking all night. We fall asleep at like, 2 in the morning or something? And then Anna calls me at 4 in the morning. Mind you, it's the day before my birthday. I told him, all I want for my birthday is no one to die. Because Spencer already died on my birthday, and that shit sucked. And so, Anna calls me, and she's like, hi, me and Brian got in a fight, and I took all my medicine and overdosed, and I ran away from the house, and now I'm at this place, and I need to ride to the hospital because I'm gonna die. So, obviously, I go up to Greenville to get her and bring her to the hospital. She gets checked into the ER, and then I go back home. Now, me and Reggie, gas station guy, we're talking about having sex, and none of us had condoms, so I was at that point where I was already out and I could have got condoms, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Which later I realized it's because it's the love of an angel. That's another story, and I think I have a video about that on my channel. So I check Anna into the ER, and then I go back home to my apartment, and yeah, like that was it. We just chilled, talked, didn't have sex, obviously, and then he left, and then I just went on with whatever I was doing. Later, first ex-boyfriend moves in, and everything's going good. And then after the fact, I don't know how many months into it, roommate guy hits me up. So here I am, okay, thinking everything is gonna be like happily ever after with me and this guy who I love and want to marry, okay? But things are not going, well, they're going good, but I'm like not getting what I want, everything that I want. So, and besides that, we like never had a definitive conversation of like, we're together now, and like we are gonna get married, and this is what's happening. So I'm kind of like out of the loop on that. I'm just like, I'm still in pretend girlfriend land, basically. It's just I'm like mostly satisfied with that, so I'm not out doing anything else. So a few months into it, or maybe like 4 or 5, I don't know how many months into it, but then ex-roommate guy hits me up again, and he's like, yo, like, do you want to basically be friends with benefits? And I'm like, yes, I do, because that was good. And so I, like, start seeing him again, and I'm sure I must have told my, like, pretend boyfriend about this, because I literally, like, I tell him everything, and a lot of it is so that he would know, but it's also, like, me playing some kind of, like, mental head games, like, because, like, really, like, if you want me to, like, be pretending to be your girlfriend, doing all the stuff a girlfriend would do, but yet you don't want to be with me, like, I'm gonna feed that right back to you, and I'm gonna tell you everything I'm doing, every detail of what I'm doing, whether you like it or not, and you go sit there, and you gonna deal with it, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna leave, but then all of my little girlfriend things are gonna come with me, because that's me, like, like, Bye. So I'm sure I told him that, and then it was like clear that we're not together. I don't even remember. I should maybe ask him about that. Anyway, so I start seeing ex-roommate guy while I'm living with this guy. I'm pretty sure we were on the page of we're not together, because why? Like, if we were together, I wouldn't have been doing that. I would have, like, broken up with him, which I know for a fact I would not have broken up with him. I would have just dealt with whatever the situation was in that relationship, because I was, like, legit, oh, I love you, I want to marry you, let's have babies. So, on top of some other things that were going on. So, that's why I just can't recall it very well. But anyway, so then I start seeing ex-roommate guy. And that is really good as far as getting laid. It's like great as far as getting laid. But then we have like this other thing where I'm like catching feelings for him, and I'm like, why is this happening? Like, this is so messed up and like delusional. And then and then somehow, I think it must have been like a year and a half or something, we started dating. In the meantime of us like messing around and just having a sexual relationship, me and my pretend boyfriend, who I love and want to marry, but who doesn't want to be in a relationship with me, we got an eviction notice. There's a lot of like drug stuff going on over here. Like, me and one of my good friends, who I'll call Felicia from a different video that's private, but anyway, Felicia and Renee, they used to come over all the time. We used to do a whole bunch of coke. It was actually like a really good time. A lot of it was really fun, and but we just did a lot of drugs, and that's not the life that I want to live. But we did, just pleasure and sin for a season. So we were like doing a lot of coke. All of our money, combined income, was like getting spent on like mainly Percocet from Felicia, because she was like our drug dealer, I guess. So we ended up getting behind on rent and utilities and not being able to pay anything, and we owed the landlord like $2,400. And I was like scrambling, kind of like pulling all my resources together to see what I could do. And I was like, I can't do anything, like, we're just gonna get evicted, whatever. And then I just packed up my stuff and I left, because I was like, I'm getting evicted now, I need to leave. Like, right? Doesn't that make sense to you? But then he ended up getting it together, the money, and not losing the apartment, and I had already left. And so, but that was like our breakup. Was he spent all of my money, combined income, on drugs, and then now I'm homeless, so I just left. Like, that's what happened. So that's how we broke up. But then, fast forward on this side to ex-roommate guy. I'm like seeing him, I start catching feelings for him, like, and here's the thing, when we're friends with benefits, we're actually trying to be friends, but I like have feelings, like, oh, I hate feelings so much, like, why did God create us to have feelings? I still don't get that. But anyway, I'm over here like messing around with him, trying to be his friend, but he's like telling me about all these other girls he's seeing, and I'm like getting like super irritated. Like, okay, I'm gonna shut up and I'm just gonna swallow it and deal with it, like, or I'm gonna get mad and I'm gonna leave. But if I get mad and I leave, then I'm gonna go have to see this guy and tell him all about it, and I don't want to talk to him right now because we got evicted and I freaking left the whole situation, so I didn't want to do that. So here I am trying to be friends with this guy. We keep seeing each other, and then we start doing other activities together, like going for walks and going bike riding, and like we actually were like, we could have been really good friends. And I don't want to say we could be really good friends, but I was thinking about it the other day. So we're like, we just have a good time together. Anyway, eventually he like basically asks me out and we start officially dating. And I'm like super pumped about it. And like, I'm pretty much over at his house all the time. We just do a lot of fun things. Like, we go out for coffee, we go, like, out to eat, we have sex all the time. We play video games. I get to go meet his friends and things. And then things start going downhill, as you would imagine. So he has a friend who I do not like. Who I very much do not like. And this is like my petty bitterness, unforgiveness. This girl made my sister cry like over 11 years ago at this point, and I like hate her for it. And I don't think I hate her anymore. I have to search my heart on that one. But I was like, you're friends with her? Like, how could you be friends with her? Like, she made my sister cry 11 years ago. Like, what is mentally wrong with you? I'm like psycho about it. And he's like, maybe you should get over it. And I'm like, no! I will not do such a thing. She made my sister cry. Like, I'm like literally psycho about it. So anyway, we had that problem of me thinking that he's an idiot because he's friends with someone who made my sister cry 11 years ago. And you can see by me telling you this, I still kind of have that attitude. So I probably need to forgive her and get over it. So I should write that down or make a note or something. So that was like the first thing, is he has friends who are complete like scum. And I just can't. But I was trying anyway. So then we have other problems. But also like things are good, and I'm like pretty much at this point like very much addicted to sex. And so that made it like hard to leave. But then all this other stuff happened. Like I have feelings for this guy. Like I've been with him for like what, like a year or something, and like legitimately with him in a relationship. By seeing him for like probably a year and a half before that. And it was like a little bit off and on, but it was mostly on. And I really like him, like just the activities we do together and stuff. It's like, it feels like a good, healthy relationship, but at the same time, like I can't communicate because I'm like gonna spaz out. Like I literally am a basket case, and all of my like everything, I'm just holding it inside, because when I need to flip out, I go over to this other guy's house, but we're not talking right now, so I'm just holding all of my crazy inside of me and like building it up to freaking explode, right? And like trying to deal with it, and I'm like I did go back to counseling at one of these points in our relationship because I was like, I'm gonna lose it. And that didn't help. So here we go. I'm like seeing him. Eventually I broke up with him after I found out that he was racist, which he might say he's not racist, but there's a story behind that. I'm not gonna get into it. And then after I found out he like was super mean and rude to homeless people and about homeless people, I was like, ugh. Like that just irked me so much. I was like, I can't be with someone who's racist against black people and who is like mean to homeless people, like who you don't even know, you're just mean because they're freaking homeless. Like I'm a person who wants to live in my car. Like, so we had issues, and I was like, I need to break up with him. The breaking point in my like the cycle in my life is like I do something stupid, it's a downward spiral, and it generally is like 3 years, and then I get a very strong conviction from God, and I'm like tortured, literally like just dwelling in sin and being tortured because I'm grieving the Holy Spirit, and it's like come to my awareness, and I'm like I'm dying, I need to change. So I ended up getting to that point in this relationship. Like I like go to sleep at night crying. Like I literally am at his house, have sex with him, fall asleep cuddling up with him, and I just like turn around and like sob because I'm like talking to God in my head, and I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. Like I need to stop doing this. And I can't just walk away. Like it's so hard, and there's so many things in that I just I feel like I'm gonna cry. That's annoying. So I got to that point. I stayed in that place for I don't know how long, but then I finally broke up with him, and that was like so hard and so scary and so upsetting. And that was like recently. I think it was in 2016. It was in 2016. It must have been, because I worked at that time. Like, I met him when I worked at the place that's not a grocery store, right? And then I was with him when I worked at the tax department, when I worked at the cleaning company, and then when I worked for the state, like at the state hospital. So, like, that's a lot. That's a lot of time. Wow, that's a lot of time. And now, like, 2016, 17, 18, it's now the beginning of 2019, but I knew him. Like, I started working at the place that's not a grocery store, like, 7 years ago? 2019? Yeah, like 7 years ago. So I've known him for a long time. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened. And now I'm at the place where this guy who I was like in love with and wanted to marry, okay, and here's some like fast forward to recent things. When I call this guy over here, like when I call his work, they're like, who is this? And I never, ever, ever, ever say my name. And I would prefer to never, ever, ever say my name. And so when they're like, oh, like, can I talk to so-and-so? They're like, yeah, who's this? I say, I'm his wife. Okay? Like, a week ago or something, maybe 10 days ago, I came to the conclusion, like, I was, like, just thinking, oh, well, like, maybe I'm not married because I'm still, like, pretending to be someone's wife. Like, because every time I call his work, I'm like, it's his wife. Like, maybe I can't say that. And then I was like, oh, what am I gonna say? Like, if they ask me who I am, what am I gonna say? Because I'm not gonna tell them who I am. I would like to not lie. Like, like, what am I gonna say? But then, okay, we're not really married. Here's the thing. That day, when I went to his house, the day I got my first car, and I said, like, we're gonna be together and we're getting married. And he was like, what? Like, after I hadn't talked to him for months and months, okay? I was, like, legit serious. Like, I'm not joking about, like, anything. Very rarely. I know, like, people think that I'm funny and stuff, but I am, like, pretty much never joking. I don't know when I'm ever not serious. Like, I was serious. And that's the thing. Like, when I call his work and I say I'm his wife, like, there's some... I can't... Yeah. I'm pretty much... I'm still kind of serious about that, even though I'm not. But here's the thing is, when we broke up, like, I was actually legitimately thinking, like, how can I file divorce because we're not legally married. But, like, shouldn't I divorce him now because now I'm seeing this other guy, like, ex-roommate guy? Like, I was legit thinking of that, and I never filed for divorce because I don't know how to do that when you're not legally married, even though I don't think it really counts because it's, like, literally me and my delusional thinking. Because he never agreed to that. We never got married. I'm just a crazy person. So now, that's like the first thing is, what am I gonna say when I call his work? Mind you, okay, I don't really probably need to call his work for anything. I call his work to tell him, like, stupid crap. I literally call him to be like, oh, the city's towing my camper, like, just to tell him, like, my stressful, stupid drama that's going on in my life, like, and I don't know why, because, like, if I want advice from him, he's not gonna give me advice. He just sits there and listens and doesn't say anything. like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, can you give me some advice? Well, no. It's ridiculous. I just need to stop. So, we've established that that's my relationship with my first ex-boyfriend over here. And I do this all the time to him, which is like, I should probably maybe not do that. I should definitely stop pretending that I'm his wife. That's a good idea. What is wrong with me? Okay, so then over to this guy. I don't know what is wrong with me if I just like still have like feelings or emotions, or like I also had like the demonic soul tie thing after we broke up. I realized I was married to a demon. That was horrifying and like super stressful and shocking, but I went through that. I have a separate video on that. So I don't know exactly what's going on over here, like in this kind of relationship. Probably a soul tie, but I don't know because I thought I broke that. But then definitely other things with like my emotional issues and like mental issues of me being a crazy person and like jealous and whatever. I don't know like why I even feel that way, so I just have to search my heart on it, which I'm kind of glad about this whole experience because I have been doing that. Which if it never happened, I probably would have just continued to suppress it and ignore it, because that's like usually how I handle my emotions, is suppressing them, and I don't really know how I do that anymore, because when I was younger, like 19 and younger, 8 to 19, 20-ish, no, 8 to 19, I would just suppress my emotions with drugs and alcohol, and then when I was 19, I stopped doing drugs and alcohol, and then I was like, oh, I have all of these feelings and emotions and things, like I don't know how to deal with this. And so I went to counseling because I really needed help. And now I don't know if I am still suppressing my emotions or what I'm doing. I pray a lot, so that's good. But I really need the Most High to show me things, like the demonic soul tie. I would have never thought of that myself. That was the Most High. Or anytime I have peace, that's the fruit of the Holy Spirit. I can't just be peaceful by myself. I need God's help to do that. So anyway, again, fast forwarding to now. I don't know why, but I just hooked up with my ex-boyfriend again. And here's the thing, like, I have, since we've like been broken up, right, I have blocked him, and then unblocked him, and blocked him, and unblocked him. But even though he's blocked, he's not anymore, he's unblocked at this point. Even though when he's blocked, it says I have a missed call from him, it just shows he called me at this time, and it was automatically denied, but it still shows on my phone that I have a missed call from a blocked number. So every time that happens, I'm like, oh, like, what does he want? Is he okay? Like, and then I unblock it, and I call him. And so I was at the point where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna leave him unblocked. And then he said something stupid, and I was like, ugh, whatever. And I just blocked him again. But then yesterday, or 2 days ago, I again was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna leave him unblocked. So now he's unblocked from my phone. The thing is, I feel like I need to keep him as a contact because it's a local number. So if he's not in my contacts, I'm not gonna know who calls me, and I'm gonna call them back and be like, who's this? And I don't want to have to call him back and be like, who's this? When I've known him for like years. That's just like rude, but it's stupid, okay? It's stupid. So anyway, now he's unblocked. What happened is he tried to call me. I had a missed call from him at 4:20 from a blocked number. I unblocked it. I called him back. I texted him. And if I don't get an immediate response like that, I like get really irritated. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you gonna call me and I'm gonna call you back and like you're not gonna respond immediately? Like, what? Which, granted, he could be doing anything. He could have a dead phone. He could be out visiting his friends. He could be at work. Like, I don't know what he's doing. So there's some kind of like problem with me where I'm like that. And then anyway, so he did call me back. When he called me back, I was like making comment notes on one of my videos for another channel. So I was doing that, and he was like, oh, what are you doing? I was like so excited when he called me. Because I don't know if it's because I've been bored out of my mind, because I don't have people to hang out with, because I have all of these like issues, and now I'm back in Vermont around my crazy family, which they're not really crazy. It's probably me who's crazy. Clearly, if you watch this whole video through, you would know that. So I was just like hyped to talk to him. Like, I actually like missed him. So that sounds like a demonic soul tied to me. I don't know if that's the case, but we'll pray about it and we'll see what the Most High says. So yeah, I was just like, hey, what are you doing? Like, how's it going? What's up? Why'd you call me? And then he said something about food, and I was like, oh, well, I made Thai food. Like, I could bring you some Thai curry if you want. And he was like, yep. And so, literally, as I was, like, packing up food for him, I was like, boom, like, switched right back into girlfriend mode. And I don't even know, right? It was, like, kind of bizarre, but that's what happened. And then I went to his house. Obviously, I got ready. And actually, I really was not looking that cute. Like, I don't really get dressed up anymore. I, like, got rid of all my, like, nice kind of clothes. And so I pretty much always look like a bum. I just wear, like, tank tops with a hoodie and leggings. Like, I'm never dressed up anymore. So, I'm like, I go over there. I'm, like, kind of cute-ish, but looking like a bum. And anyway, when I was packing his food, I went into straight girlfriend mode. When I got to his house, I was like the same thing. Like, I took off my shoes immediately. I gave him a hug, and we had a really nice, good conversation. Like, very lighthearted, very like fun, and like good humored, and that's why I like him. Mind you, I have a lot of reasons why I don't like him. And I'm like, try to like remember that, but then when I'm like in this moment, I'm like, oh, let's just forget all of the horrible, fucked up things that happened in our relationship. So I like go over there immediately. I like give him a hug. Like, he kisses me. We just start kissing, but he's also on the phone, so he's like doing that, and it's like, whatever. Okay, so then that's it. Then we went and had a good night. We had sex all night, so that was fun. And we were drinking, which was also fun. And he bought me a bottle of vodka, which was like really sweet. Like, okay, it's really not that sweet. Like, I could buy my own bottle of vodka, but I really don't drink a lot. But it's like, very rarely am I like, let's have a couple drinks. And so that was kind of nice. So that's where I'm at now. And he works, I don't want to say, but yeah, I'll say it anyway since I started the sentence. He works third shift, so he probably just got home and is sleeping now. But he texted me at 6 in the morning, and he said, hey, have you been with anybody else lately? Okay, so here's another thing. I don't have sex with anyone else except for him. Like, it's, I don't know, probably for like 5 years or something. He's the only person I've had sex with. And probably about a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, he was like, oh, well, I got chlamydia from this other girl, and now I think you have chlamydia. And I was like, I don't think I have chlamydia. Like, you are an asshole, and why would you call me and tell me that you think I have chlamydia? Like, I was really upset. Really, really, like, pissed off. And so, I never got tested. So, if I'm ever with someone, and they're like, oh, I want to have sex with you, like, I tell them, I haven't got tested, and my ex-boyfriend called me and said he thinks I have chlamydia because he got chlamydia and he thinks he gave it to me, but I never got tested yet. So, like, I'm very upfront about stuff like that. If anyone's like, oh, I think I want to have sex with you, like, well, I might have chlamydia. Like, So maybe not. And you need to show me a clean STD test because of this. So that deters a lot of people from trying to like hook up with me. For the most part, it still happens, but pretty much if you're like, oh, I might have an STD, then they're like, oh, like maybe I don't want to have sex with you. Like, you should try it if you're in that situation. So, that's another thing in a relationship that really pissed me off. And I don't have health insurance right now, so I don't know. I could spend I can't spend $50 until I get my starter fixed, and until I get a job and a paycheck and pay my grandma back, and then have money for gas every other week. So, I just wanted to explain, like, I'm not with anyone else. Like, I don't know, for some reason, he likes to go, like, have sex with other people, but I don't do that, and part of it is because I might have an STD. That's like one small piece. It's not even really that much of a factor. The second thing is I will not have sex with anyone unless they give me a clean STD test. Because, like, here's the thing, is I, like, in my, like, messed up mind, I keep, for some reason, thinking that I want to get married and have children. And it's weird because I, like, think that I don't want that anymore. But then it, like, keeps coming into my head, so I don't know what I want. I'm, like, a mess. But I'm not going to just, like, casually have sex with anyone. Like, I don't do that anymore. I want to be in a committed relationship, in a committed monogamous relationship. And, like, that's fine if other people don't want that. But then you add the fact in, like, I'm not gonna be with anyone. I say this. I'm not gonna be with anyone unless they, like, love the Most High more than me and, like, literally would, like, spend, like, almost all the last of their money on buying a generator because they were led to by the Holy Spirit, and have, like, $30 left of their check for 2 weeks to, like, buy all their food and gas when you work. Like, you have to drive 2 hours a day and you're gonna leave it. Like, you know what I mean? So I say that and I think that, and then I go do stupid shit like this, like hooking up with my ex-boyfriend. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much the whole story. Congrats if you watched through this whole entire thing, and leave your comments down below. And if you want to call me and talk about it, my number is 802-461-7672, and it's the Sabbath, so it's Saturday. No, I don't think I'm working until Monday, but I don't have a work schedule yet, and she's not gonna email me until Monday, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the whole thing. There's a lot of other story times that are relatable to this video. There's the gas station guy story. There's the night he came over on my birthday and I rescued Anna from dying. Right, that's a whole other video. There's the day I got my first car. That's a crazy story. That was like the beginning downward spiral of my life. For like the second or third time in my life. And then there was another one that I'm forgetting. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, comment down below. Subscribe if you want. I don't blame you if you don't, because this was a ratchet mess. But yeah, sounds good. Shalom!